want to double down? I'm going to dirty down on the Spirit Mage here. Look at this pre-UI picture. My Spirit Mage was born with Revive 5, which is really awesome for Here Be Monsters way back in the day when Here Be Monsters came out. I got my Spirit Mage probably in January of 2014, and I'm going to show you my Spirit Mage's journey because it recently got real close to 9-star. This is my first 9-star, and I had Enlighten 4 or 5 on it for so long, and then I went to War God, and I'm going to show you a little bit about all of these talents I've had. Sprint 5, oh my lord, this was insane. I'm going to show you that at the end of this video. And then I kind of had to go back to Revitalize 1, then I went to Revitalize 3, and I'll kind of show you where I ended up later. But for right now, before we get there, let's 9-star our Spirit Mage. Shall we not? Shall we not dirty down on the Spirit Mage? Get that sucker to 9-star. Spirit Mage will be my first 9-star hero, and I love Spirit Mage. And I couldn't really decide, you know, is Spirit Mage better, is Reaper better, is Spirit Mage better? You know what, they're both really good. Is Immortep better than Reaper? You know what, they're both good. Some are good for one thing, some are good for another thing. And I don't have Immortep on my account, but back to the game. We're looking at the Dirty Bastard. This is the final version for my perfect Here Be Monster H base. I have not lost since switching to this base in weeks. This is one of my base saves whenever I need a guaranteed low garrison Here Be Monster H win. This is the base I come back to every single time. Now I went to the Dirty Stanley base last video to show you what I needed to do to beat J. That base also beats I. Because this base right here, this Dirty Bastard, what I'm calling the final version of the Dirty Bastard, Town Hall 19, it also works at lower level Town Halls down to 16 and maybe even lower. This is just perfect. It beats Here Be Monster H just almost 100% of the time. Now the only time you might lose is when a couple troops go up to hit all my buildings at the top, and you're gonna time out if that happens. It really rarely happens. There's probably only one mega tiny percentage angle where they can pop on the edge and have that happen, but it has happened one time a long time ago, but it hasn't happened since. And here you're taking down wave H3. Now I mentioned this earlier, if you can get to H4 without losing, say, more than 2 or 3 towers, you should be able to farm Here Be Monster H here. Wave H4, by the way, is like a freebie. I've mentioned that also in the past. If you get to wave H4, you're going to beat it because it's so simple, especially if you have Minotaur. But even if you don't, you're going to beat it. It's just a pretty easy one. There's no Ornithopters and there's no real hard troops. Now when you get to wave H5, there's tons and tons of fairy dragons. Dirty bugs. Squash those dirty bugs with the Dirty Bastard. And everything comes in, but I mean just how this base works, I mean you can see how it works. It's just, it's a momentum base, and the heroes coming into your base have no momentum because they're not proccing at anything on their way in. There's nothing in the way, and we're going to land up with 230,000 experience. That is about the average that you're going to get. Sometimes you get a little bit more, sometimes you get a little bit less, but that's about the average that I see I'm getting. And now look at this. That Here Be Monster H took my Spirit Mage level 60, and I can now go from 8-star to 9-star. Cost you 2 million gold and 200,000 honor badges, 320 flames. Flames? Those dungeon deals? Skulls? Skull dungeons, remember that, guys? And there you go, and there you go. So back to the War God though. So I had Revitalize 1 when I did that, and then I did one of those free talent refreshes and I grabbed War God. And so at this point in time, I got War God 1, and what I realized is I had some gems, so I'm just going to roll my gems up and let's just see what else we can get. I was really wanting a higher War God or a higher Revitalize. I would have taken a couple things actually on the Spirit Mage, but I would have even taken like a Life Drain 5. I just love Life Drain, guys. I got a Life Drain 5 on, I forget what it's on, but a different account, and it's really amazing actually. And I switched back to Revitalize there. I'm like OCD here. I keep going back and forth. I know I'm probably confusing y'all where I'm at, but let's just say that I'm not going to be on this for long because I landed on... And here, Tenacity, you can see I stopped. I'm like, Then look at that. Right after Tenacity 5 is a Sprint 5. What the heck? This roll right after it. And I thought about this for a long time. I'm like, hey, well, I mean, I don't lose much by trying it out. And, like, no one on Earth is insane enough, dirty enough, maybe you could say, to try a Sprint 5 Spirit Mage. It's ridiculous, but hey, you know what? Since no one's done it, at least no one that I know of, I have to at least try it for a little bit. It's going to be... I didn't give up much, guys. I didn't give up like a War God 5 or 4 or Spirit Mage or a Revitalize 4 or 5, you know? I was giving up like a Revite 1. Who cares, you know? Look at that Spirit Mage head to the back. Iceman. So again, I'm back to an 8-star Spirit Mage here. I kind of going a little bit out of order, but you can see I hit up there, and wow, that's just wow. It's just suicide. It's a suicide Spirit Mage, guys. A suicide Spirit Mage is what I have at this point. Right after this first arena match, I knew I would hate it, and I do hate it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to run my Sprint 5 Spirit Mage against Sand 7 twice. Come on, guys. Why not? We'll do that in a little bit. I did happen to get a victory there, but I mean, I just didn't like it. I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't like it. But I'll show you it. I figured it out in a couple matches. And so you can see the Spirit Mage building proc, building energy, 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 and then Cupid goes off first, and then Spirit Mage goes off right there. That was the order of operation that happened right there against Rick 89. And it was at that moment in time too, and number 2, confirmation, and I rewatched this arena match a few times and I had realized that there's just terrible synergy with Sprint on Spirit Mage. I mean, I should have probably just assumed that when I saw it in past, you know, but okay, here, Sand 7. So Sand 7's up on my list. All right, so let's go. Let's run my Suicide Bomber. So I get the open lane here, and Sand 7's got that Revite Minotaur there, and hate that guy. Gets the crystal first and nails me, but doesn't nail my Spirit Mage. And see, that's right. Watch right here. Now watch. See, the Cupid proc first, and Spirit Mage has not yet proc, so I'm wasted. I wasted that Cupid proc on my Spirit Mage. That Cupid proc did not give my Spirit Mage any energy whatsoever. And again, this is my 3rd confirmation that, you know what, this is really terrible, but it's funny. At the same time, it's really funny, and you gotta, when you get something like that, sometimes you just gotta take it to try it, you know, just to see, you know, maybe it's something brilliant, you know, maybe it's like Life Drain 5 on Reaper type cool, you know. But no, you can see it happens again right there, and it's just terrible synergy. I had to get Sprint 5 off this sucker as fast as humanly possible. Sprint 5 is terrible. It creates a Suicide Bomber, and it has got to go, and it will go in part 2. I will show you I landed upon an excellent talent to go with my Spirit Mage, and I also hope you enjoyed that dirty bastard. As I always, keep it dirty and dirty up.